I'm joined here today by victorious Cal Nelson coming off the big knockout victory over in UFC Mexico City. Thanks so much for joining me, man. How are you?
I'm great. Obviously everything went really well in Mexico, and I'm back here in Canada now, just kind of enjoying the victory.
Of course, and first things first, this fight did take place in Mexico. Is this your first time going, as they say, south of the border?
It's the first time going all the way to Mexico. I've been in the States and stuff with amateur fights and different things, but yeah, definitely the first time in Mexico.
And what was that experience like for you? I mean, did you take advantage of the trip to kind of do some things, or was it kind of sort of business oriented?
Yeah, no, it was pretty much all business. We got there the Monday, late Monday night, and then it was basically just stayed in the hotel. We'd got a couple travel advisories from the UFC. I never actually ended up reading them. I just planned on staying in the hotel anyways. But yeah, I just stayed in the hotel, and then after the fight, we ended up flying out early Sunday, so didn't really get to see any of the sights or anything in Mexico.
And what's the travel like from Canada to Mexico? Do you have like a direct flight, or did you have to make some stops along the way?
No, it was a direct flight, but I think we had like, some delays or something on the plane. I think maybe so. It was about 5 hours each way. Not too bad, but yeah.
It's still pretty long, and one thing we do know is that at Mexico City, it is at elevation. I mean, did you kind of feel that difference when you were down there?
No, so I trained with my sponsor. My sponsor, the Sport Lab, set me up with an elevation tent. So I spent a lot of time in that to get ready for the elevation. And yeah, when we landed, my coaches in the corner and stuff said, yeah, they could really notice it. And doing like a lot of walking and going up some stairs, they noticed that the air was a little bit thinner. I didn't really notice it.
Is that something that you guys had thought from the start, sort of the elevation, or is that something you kind of realized later?
So yeah, as soon as we got the fight, it was kind of one of the first things as soon as we started building the game plan and stuff, we realized obviously some people have a hard time with the elevation. That was whether or not we wanted to go to Mexico early, or if we wanted to go somewhere else, like Big Bear or Colorado or somewhere with elevation, or if we could get the elevation training in at home here in Canada, and we were able to do that.
And one thing, a lot of people had comments on the crowd. Obviously, we saw how they kind of reacted to the main event, even a little bit for the co-main event. What did you personally think of the crowd out there?
So when I walked out, obviously, I think Polo's a big star down there, being on the Ultimate Fighter and stuff. So, they booed me a fair bit and chanted Mexico and stuff, but none of that really affected me. And then as soon as the fight was over, when I walked back to the dressing room, it took me, like 20 minutes, half an hour, because every single Mexican fan kind of lined up along the walkway there and wanted pictures and to shake my hand and stuff. So they were all super nice and courteous to me and stuff. So I think once I got in there and proved myself, proved I was a warrior, I think I earned the Mexican fans' respect.
Yeah, so overall for you it was a positive experience. Now, like Carla Esparzo got the beer poured on her. I mean, for you it was mostly positive.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it was absolutely positive. I didn't come across anybody that was negative at all. Everybody was super positive and happy and super nice to me.
And let's talk about the fight a little bit. Obviously, first round knockout. I think that's what most fighters picture when they go out there. How do you sort of look back at your performance now, a few days later?
Yeah, so I mean, I haven't watched the whole fight. I've seen kind of the little highlight that the UFC's put up, but I haven't watched the whole fight yet. But from what I can remember, everything went perfectly.
And we know there was a little bit of controversy, sort of, I say towards the end, because people thought it might have been an early stoppage. Others kind of explained he was out on his feet. What did you sort of feel like when you were out there? Did you feel like he was out on his feet, or what did you feel about the stoppage?
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as I landed that elbow, I knew the fight was pretty much done. And then obviously when I landed that overhand, it kind of threw him against the fence and then turned him. Um, and then all the extra shots after that, I think, were just extra. Again, the ref could have let it go a little bit longer, but I mean, with the power I was throwing and stuff, it was just gonna be a matter of time until he fell down and would have taken a lot more unnecessary damage, I think.
And you did mention the big elbow. As you're throwing the strikes, at what point do you kind of realize that, you know what, you kind of won the fight and that the referee's going to step in at any moment?
I thought as soon as I felt that elbow in, we worked on elbows a lot with my head coach, Lynn Halmagine, at House of Champions, and we've been drilling elbows a ton. And I knew I had lots of power in them. I wasn't expecting to land with that much power from that position, but as soon as it connected, I knew he was rock bad to be able to finish him.
And unfortunately, going into the fight, you were on a two-fight losing streak. Did you sort of feel a lot of pressure heading into this fight, like you needed to perform and you kind of needed to get the victory in this one?
So I personally didn't feel any extra pressure than I would for any other fight. I mean, every fight, I think the same every fight's the biggest fight possible. So I go in the same way for every fight. But yeah, I didn't win that one, but that would be my last fight in the UFC.
So when you got the victory, I mean, did you feel like a sense of relief? I mean, I assume it's a whole range of emotions, but was there a certain relief knowing that you secured your job, and if anything, now you're going to be all over social media with a big highlight reel knockout?
Yeah, I mean, it was very exciting. I don't know if relief would be the right word, but definitely very excited to finally get my first UFC victory. My third UFC fight, but it's hard to call yourself a UFC fighter until you've actually won in the octagon. So now I can sit back and comfortably say I'm a UFC fighter.
What was your kind of reaction when you went back on social media? What was kind of the reaction from the fans? I mean, did you see a lot of positive support? I mean, what was it kind of like when you logged back into, I assume, just your phone, your social media?
It was insane. I've never had so many messages and comments and likes and stuff like that. Um, and yeah, nothing negative. I think on some of the UFC stuff, maybe some people have mentioned they thought it was a little bit. Again, they called it a little bit early, but it seemed like the majority of people realized that Polo was out on his feet. And I mean, even after the stoppage, when I was waiting to get my hand raised, they brought him off the stool, and he was still having a hard time walking and stuff like that. So I think for the people that paid enough attention, they definitely would have noticed that yeah, it was a proper stoppage.
And does it bother you at all when people think it was an early stoppage, or are you just confident that, it was stopped for a reason, that the people that truly know the fight game know that the stoppage was fine?
Yeah, I mean the people that truly know the stoppage was fine. Um, it's not on me. I keep going until the ref stops it. So I did my job. If the ref didn't step in when he did, nothing would have changed. So who knows? Maybe if he didn't step in, maybe I would have connected a couple more times, and maybe I would have got the bonus. It's hard to say, but I'm happy with the referee stoppage. I don't want Polo taking any more damage than he needs. So yeah.
And so, what does this victory do for your career? Obviously, like you mentioned, you can call yourself a UFC fighter now, but does this get you bigger fights? Do you think it gets you more fans? What did this victory do for your career?
Definitely, I think it showcases a lot of my skills that I was able to showcase outside the UFC, but now I was able to put it together on a bigger platform. I don't know about bigger fights yet. I think that I proved myself now, and I'll get more fights in the UFC. I don't know. I don't propels me up the ladder much yet, but I think it lets everyone know that I'm here and I'm ready. So hopefully we'll get another fight before the end of the year, and then I can really start climbing the ladder.
And how do you feel physically coming off this fight? I mean, do you have any injuries or anything like that, or are you just perfectly healthy?
No, 100% healthy. I didn't get hit at all. I think maybe he landed a knee to the body and it clinched a little bit, but didn't get hit in the face. I didn't hurt my hands when I was hitting him, so I'm 110% healthy. Still in great shape. Right back to training. So hopefully we can get another fight soon.
I know you mentioned getting another fight soon. Is there a certain event, a certain date you have in mind for when you'd like to return or anything like that?
So I'd like to fight soon. I haven't looked at the really soon dates, but I know there's a show in South Korea in December, which I think would be super cool. I'd love to go out there. I believe Dublin maybe the beginning of December. So again, both those uh, both those will like that. I love traveling, so or yeah, I mean, any fighting in Canada, I'd love to do too. So, but yeah, just whatever Sean Shelby finds me, and the sooner the better.
All right, and I have just one more for you. I assume you've been asked this a lot, especially when you get off a big victory like this. You get this question a lot. But is there anyone you'd like next? Anyone that you think would help propel you in your career?
Again, coming off of two losses now, just getting my first victory. I don't think I'm in a position to really call a whole lot of people out, but so I'm going to kind of take what the UFC gives me. But I know I'd like to avenge my losses in the UFC. My only loss at 145 pounds came, against Matt Sales in my last fight there. So I'd love to get that back. But I'm ready and willing to take any fight the UFC gives me.
All right, well, thanks so much for the time, man. I really appreciate it. Congratulations on the victory. It was awesome to see you get that first win in the UFC. We look forward to seeing what's next for you.
Yeah, thank you. Is it cool if I shout out my sponsors?
Oh, yeah, of course. If you have any sponsors, any social media, anything you want to shout out, go ahead.
Yeah, yes. And so you can find me on social media. Facebook is Kyle the Monster Nelson. Instagram is the Monster 705 underscore UFC, and on Twitter the underscore Monster. My sponsors were obviously very helpful leading up to the camp and stuff is Moose Delaney's, the Sport Lab, Sheath Underwear, Copperhead Distillery, Sire Biosciences, Muskoka Reynolds, Highlander Brew Co., Cooler Meal Management Bags, and Urban Beard.